My dear students of class 8, a very warm good morning to all of you. I hope you all are doing well and having a good stay at home. Well students, as you all know that in the last class we finished the chapter Land, Soil, Water, Natural Vegetation and Wildlife Resources. That means we are done with the second chapter from your geography textbook. So students, now it's civics time. So today we are going to start with the fifth chapter from your civics textbook, that is Judiciary. Well students, the learning outcomes of today's class are: you will develop an understanding about the term judiciary, what judiciary is. Along with that, you will also develop an understanding about what judiciary includes, that is the composition of judiciary. Not only that students, you will also develop an understanding about the role played by judiciary in a democracy. And when you will understand the roles, you will also get to know about the importance of judiciary. Okay? Well students, when we hear the term judiciary, the very first thing which comes to our mind is that it is something related with laws, isn't it? We all know that in India, we have a rule of law. This means that in India, we have certain rules and regulations and we have certain laws. And students, these rules and laws and everything is applicable to all the citizens. No one can escape these rules and laws. Everyone is equal in the eye of law, isn't it? And students, what happens? We also have a certain set of fixed procedures in case these rules or in case these laws are violated. That means if one violates these rules and regulations, for that also we have a certain set of procedures regarding how to deal with such violations, isn't it? And students, in order to enforce this rule of law, that means in order to implement this rule of law, or you can say that in order to practice this rule of law, we have this judicial system. And if you remember, that judiciary is the third organ of the state, isn't it? The first two being the executive and the legislative. So students, judiciary, which happens to be the third organ of the state, enables us to practice the laws, enables us to follow the rules. Okay? And in case these rules are violated, this judicial system enables us to get justice. Okay? So what is judiciary? Judiciary is basically a mechanism of courts which enables people to get justice in case they feel that their rights are violated. Now the question is, what does judiciary include? So students, judiciary includes the Supreme Court, which is the highest judicial authority of India, followed by the High Court, the second highest judicial authority. Then comes the various district courts, and then comes the various lower level courts, that is the subordinate courts. Along with that, judiciary also includes the various judges, the magistrates, along with the lawyers or the various law professionals, that means who practice law. So students, this is the entire system of judiciary. Alright, so what is judiciary? Judiciary is a mechanism of courts that deals with the violation of laws. It has various components. In fact, it includes the Supreme Court, the High Court, the various district courts, then the subordinate courts, the judges, the magistrates, the lawyers, and the various law practitioners in a country. Okay? And why do we need a judiciary? We need a judiciary to enforce this rule of law. That means to practice the rule of law or to implement this rule of law. Alright. Now students, coming to the role which is played by judiciary. So judiciary plays three very important roles. The first important role which is played by judiciary is disputes resolution. So in case some kind of disputes or some kind of conflicts, it arises between two people or between a person and the state or between two states or between the state and the center, then judiciary enables us to resolve such conflicts or resolve such disputes. So the first important role which is played by judiciary is the resolution of disputes or conflicts, and these disputes or conflicts may arise between two people or between two persons, between a person and a state, between two states, or between a state and the center. Okay, so judiciary helps in finding solution to these disputes. The second important function of judiciary is judicial review. So students, what happens? New laws are being made. These laws are passed by whom? By the parliament. So sometimes some laws may be passed by the parliament which may not be favorable to all categories of people. So as a result, what happens? Some categories of people, they agrees to that law, whereas some categories of people, they oppose that law. The classic example of it is CA, isn't it? The Citizenship Amendment Act. So a certain section of people, they agreed to CA, whereas another section of people, they were totally against it. So in such cases where some laws are controversial, the judiciary has every right to strike down such laws. That means to abolish such laws. So the power rests in the hands of the judiciary whether to amend the law or not, or whether to enforce the law or not. So sometimes if the judiciary finds that certain laws are controversial, or if it is not in favor of some particular or if the judiciary finds that if it is not in favor of some particular communities, or if it is discriminatory, then the judiciary has the power to abolish such laws. So this is the second important role which is played by judiciary. Alright. Now the third important role. So students, the third important role which is played by judiciary is upholding the law and enforcing fundamental rights. So students, we all know the sixth fundamental right, that is right to constitutional remedies. So according to this role, it says that if anyone feels that their rights are being violated, then he or she has the right to approach the Supreme Court. Okay, so this is the third important role which is played by judiciary, and one example is also given here, and it is in fact one example which is taken from your class 7 textbook. Okay, so students, under certain circumstances, when the people feel that their rights are being violated, or when the decision which is being given by some lower level of court is discriminatory, or if it is not fair, they feel that the decision which is given by the lower level of court is not fair, they have the right to move to the judiciary to seek fair trial, okay, to seek justice for them. So this is the third important role of judiciary. So you see how important judiciary is in a country, especially in a country which is democratic in nature. We all know that in a democracy, every person has the right to speak up, every person has the right to raise their voice. So for that, we are given certain fundamental rights. We also have certain articles. For example, Article 21, which guarantees the right to life of a person. So under this right, here one example is given, that one farmer who was injured, he moved to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ordered the state to give him compensation for his injuries. So this is how the judiciary can help the people to get fair trial or to get justice. Okay, so students, this is it for today's class. Today we have discussed about the meaning of judiciary, what judiciary is. So judiciary basically is a mechanism of courts. It is the system of law. It includes the judges, the magistrates, the lawyers, and the various law practitioners. And the highest judicial authority is the Supreme Court. And then we have the High Court, the district courts, and the various subordinate courts as well. And what are the three important functions of judiciary, or what are the role played by judiciary? It solves the disputes which takes place between people, or between a person and a state and the center, or between the two states. Okay. Another important role is judicial review. That means some laws which are controversial or which are discriminatory, judiciary has the right to strike down such laws. And the third important function of judiciary is it upholds the laws and enforces the fundamental rights of the people. It gives the people the right to seek justice in case they feel that their rights are violated, and they have the right to move to the Supreme Court for the same purpose. Okay, so students, these are your homework for today's class. Question number 1, what do you mean by the term judiciary? So you need to write about the meaning of judiciary. Kindly write in an elaborative manner since it is for 2 marks. And then you need to write about the composition of judiciary, what it includes, as I have already told you. And then the second question, discuss the role played by judiciary in upholding the principles of democracy. So you need to elaborate, or you need to explain the 3 roles which are played by judiciary. And you need to submit your homework tonight in between 8 to 9 p.m. And students, one important thing, along with this homework, also please do the exercise questions from the chapter Land, Soil, Water, Natural Vegetation and Wildlife Resources. That means we have already done the question answers, the exercise question answers, but you have not done the MCQs, that is the multiple choice questions, then the match the following questions and the true and false questions from your textbook. So kindly do those questions and submit those questions along with this homework tonight between 8 to 9 p.m. okay? And in case you have any difficulty, if you have not understood anything, please let me know. Okay, thank you so much. Take care and have a nice day.